All right. Hey, welcome to the Go for CEO channel, everybody. And thank you so much again for being a part of our channel, being a part of our community, learning from CEOs, founders, entrepreneurs, intrapreneurs, people that are running businesses, startups, driving their mindset and being driven by mindset in this world. And it's 2021. So it's woohoo, a new year. We're excited to bring on a brand new guy, a guy that I've been able to build a relationship with over the last probably 6 or 12 months in my finance side of business, and excited to have him on because he has such a great story. Another home-based business that is exploding in the Chicagoland area, and the things that he does is different than most businesses. So by the way, subscribe, hit that subscribe button, push that like button, and give us some comments. Let Ricardo know what you thought about his interview today and how he can interact with you, and then you'll see some of his information below. So Ricardo Reyes, Musical Artisans Inc. How are you today?
I'm well, John. Thanks for having me.
Awesome, my friend. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining the Go for CEO community. So, we usually like to start off with, hey, tell us a little bit about kind of your background, where, how you grew up, and then, what gave you this vision of Musical Artisans and what you've been able to develop over the last few years.
Absolutely. So I was born and raised in a small island in the Philippines on the southernmost part, which we don't have electricity, we have no telephone, but my mother was a professional pianist, so music is always in the air, and we have a Spanish blood. My grandmother is from Madrid, Spain, so lots of flamenco music, and I grew up with it, loved it, but I did not hear a high fidelity system until I migrated in the US in 1989. I was 23 years old. Mm-hmm. And my first exposure, oh boy, I could still remember it. I wasn't able to sleep for weeks. It was so fascinating to remember that experience where I could almost hear my mother playing her piano like growing up, and I did not think that was possible. And things through the years have gotten so much better, and I have no plans of slowing down soon. And technology is improving all the time, and this is really the best part of my years in audio. I've been home-based for 17 years. Before that, I have a storefront in Evanston called Celestial Sound, and it was one of the premier brick and mortar stores in the country at that time. But much of the way we do business has changed. I found myself always in clients' homes, demonstrating product, voicing systems, loudspeakers, and there was not much of a need to have a storefront with all these employees. So I moved the business in August of 2003. I was there for 3.5 years, and it's been great ever since. I never thought I would go back having a storefront again, but here we are. The business has grown so much that it's quite difficult for us to continue our operation with very limited space. I mean, you can see our living room is full of toys, and yeah, there's thousands of pounds in this levels alone. And I think the timing is right, and that's how I met you. So fantastic start.
Well, what a great story, right? Obviously coming from a small island and having that blood of musical artisanship, right, inside your blood. And so, from what I'm hearing, basically you came to the States, you never really heard sound in that type of quality. You fell in love with just the sound and everything. Now, did you start as a worker somewhere, or did you just, wow, I heard this sound. Can I be an owner of a business that sells this type of equipment? How did you actually start your journey within being a sound guy or selling your products?
I started working for audio stores back in 1991
Mhm.
and worked my way up, made my connections, and by year 2000, that's when I was able to open my first shop in Evanston. So I put a lot of hours, at least 80 to 100 hours at that time, and still probably do about 60 to 80 nowadays. But I love doing it, and so
That's
here we are.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, there's very rare times that you talk to someone, unfortunately, that they're not pursuing their real dreams, right? They're not really
Mhm.
inside of something that they really love. And I remember meeting you for what we did outside of this channel on the lending side, and just hearing that passion, understanding kind of where you're coming from. So it's really cool to hear that you kind of, I guess learned a little bit about the industry. But what I guess shared with you, or why did you think that you would be a good business owner at those first brick and mortar side of things? Did you see a friend that had also a store, or did you get a mentor? What was your thoughts about how you started your business?
Well, one of the things that helped me a lot was my first 9 years being employed with other stores. Is that
Mm.
I was a very good pupil, and I've always loved to learn more. And each and every time I met or knew someone that knows quite a bit about specific part of the industry, I was literally a leech. So I would try to absorb as much as I can, and they were very willing to share. So I was very fortunate. I guess I was also a good student, and with that, gave me a lot of confidence because I have the knowledge. In terms of selling products, it's always been my forte, if you can call it. I mean, I'm, I guess, a natural sales guy. I just love to talk to people, especially providing products that I believe and so passionately that are truly the best that our industry can offer. So nothing was really that much of a challenge. If you present a product, you demonstrate a product properly, uh, and let them experience the magic, the emotion of music.
Mm.
Something good always comes out from it. But with that, I mean, there's a lot of things that's involved. You have to install it. You have to optimize it. When I say optimize, it's like setting up system, particularly loudspeaker. I mean, the way we position that in a listening room, whether it is a dedicated listening room or a living room like what we have here, you can still create a proper listening room by doing things that are accessible for you. We work closely with great acousticians, electrical engineers. HVAC is very, very important. You need to
Hmm.
isolate the room properly and make sure that your ventilation does not cause noises and nasties that degrades the listening experience. So it takes a village to really do this right. And being in the industry for about 3 decades now, I've, I've learned a lot of people and I've got a lot of help. So
That's amazing.
it's fun stuff. Yeah.
That's amazing. And you said a key word there that I picked up on is emotion. So Can you walk us through, obviously as a business owner, and to this day, it sounds like you kind of, you use a similar process, but what is your style with when a new client asks for musical artisans to share with them that experience of what they could possibly do in their home or in their office of audio equipment? Can you share with us kind of the steps that you take to really involve them inside of that emotion that you talked about?
Yeah, there's a lot of scenarios. For local clients, typically what happens is they give us a call and we will invite them over. And that involves showing them the equipment, obviously, you know, the build quality, the statics, and so on and so forth is important. And then you go into the demonstration, which is the most important. This is where you can really gauge if this music system in front of you gets you close to the real thing, the live the live experience that is quite magical. I myself, if and when I have time, I would go to concert halls that everybody had talked about since day one. For instance, Music Varan in Vienna is considered the best concert hall in the world, and I've been there several times, and they were not lying. I mean, it's something you cannot describe. You go there and you close your eyes, and I have shivers now, and your hair will just stand out of how magical the music is presented. Just music. If you are into opera, you must go to Milan. That would be Teatro della Scala. Incredible venue. The concert that I heard was Aida, which was a 3 hour and 50-minute concert. That felt like I was there for 2 seconds. I mean, you couldn't get you couldn't get more. I mean, it's just unbelievable. One of my best and most memorable concerts was probably when I turned 50. That was 4 years ago. My favorite flamenco guitar player, Paco de Lucia, passed away about 2 years before that. And this rather new and talked about concert hall called Palau de la Música. You should look at the pictures of this concert hall. It's breathtaking. It's the most beautiful concert hall I've ever seen. And a lot of the things that they use isn't supposed to work. Lots of stained glass, but for whatever magical reason, it's one of the absolute best concert experience I had. So they have a Palau de la Musica's organizers put together a commemorative concert series for Paco de Lucia. And this is a trio of flamenco guitar player and a couple of the best flamenco dancers in Spain. So you have a couple, a flamenco dancer dancing in front of you, and the trio guitar player doing their magic.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you guys be mesmerized there, man. I mean, that journey that you just took us through of just understanding. And I think for me, it really just details, you know, what you did over the years to kind of go to the experiences. And I'm sure then find out, what were they using? What kind of sound equipment? How did they set themselves up? What did they use? Some sort of background? What is the best thing? So it really seems like you immersed yourself into this industry and became a top-notch person to go to. So, you know, obviously, you know, you don't do everything alone. You've built a really nice business for yourself and your family. Tell us a little bit about how, you know, when you started to convert from the retail brick and mortar to being at home-based business, but still thriving, and the team that you started to put together. I'm sure it takes, I think offline we talked about a sound engineer or this, or, all these types of people. How did you start to formulate that team over the years, and what have you liked most about that?
Yeah, that was a very interesting period. But before I switch gears, let me go back to
Sure.
importance of someone like me
Okay.
getting exposed to not just live music, but the best live music you could possibly experience. And the importance to that is, if you don't know and have not experienced the magic, what's possible, what's so special about live music, it's very hard to be able to put together this sort of systems. And you can bounce it off from systems that you heard from trade shows and clients and friends and so on and so forth. That's the it's very, very interesting. And there's not one way of doing it right. There's ways to do it where it can be fun. Of course, $1 million system would likely outperform $100,000 system, but a lot of times, if the retailer helping you putting the system together isn't someone that A, is experienced enough, and B, listen to what really matters for you, the wife, the family, then it's hard to get there. So that is something that I would definitely stress to the viewers. There's a thing in our world that's called synergy, and there are electronics and loudspeakers and cables and so on and so forth that works unbelievably good. And at times there are products that you've heard perform quite well, and when they're put together with other products that does not have that synergy, they just don't make music. So that's what's really interesting in our world. Yeah.
Interesting. No, and thank you for taking us back a bit, because, as you said, that is the real importance, right? Of how you created this business, and it's really become a passion for you. So, if you'd like, definitely start sharing with us a little bit of kind of how you start to formulate your team. What were you looking at? Obviously you're the lead, the CEO, right? And you have this vision and this passion for music and the sound systems. How did you start to formulate really a team to collaborate with you and work with you?
I have plenty of friends in the industry, so every time you need help, you make phone calls, and usually that's how you get it. There are subcontractors that has helped us through the years, and some of them are from out of state, because we do have clients from all over the country, especially the distribution part of the business, which we'll talk a little bit about it later. But in general, that's how I find the help, and I've been fortunate to always seems to find the right people.
Neat.
Yeah.
Well, and obviously they follow your direction, right? You collaborate with them and seek other different ways. So tell me a little bit about, and tell the community, if you could share kind of what is your marketing style, right? I mean, obviously you're definitely not just some speaker place. We could buy some, brand names. I won't give them any plugs on this, but how did you start marketing? How did you start to put yourself on that next level of echelon of sound systems? Because it seems like you really bring some top quality stuff.
That's a very interesting subject. I did not purposely focus on what we call the ultra high end. I mean, just to give you an idea, the least expensive component I sell, a real components, at least $15,000, and they go up to, I just sold an amp that was $93,000 yesterday. That's one amplifier. So it gets crazy out there, but without question, it's worth every penny. It's very hard to sort of establish that, but the way this is done is there's a lot of ways to do it. For instance, I would bring a $17,500 power cable and install it on a client's amplifier. What happens is the improvement realized is so intense. I mean, it's so obvious. Bigger, deeper, more resolving, dynamics, everything. And what you do then next is unplug that and put his old power cable back, which is very, very good in quality. And all of a sudden, the $750,000 system sounds dreadful, to a point where they'd say, well, if this is the case, I'd rather not listen to the system again. So that's where it's not that difficult to sell power cord at 17.5 if the quality really shows the improvement, the overall improvement of the system. So not all the times it works. I have situations where a client would call and say, I heard from a friend, I read a review about this product. Would you bring the product here? And I would bring it and I would install it. And usually there's a warm up time. So some we can do it on the fly, but most of the time the critical listening is done by them. And then I come back a few days later and sit down with the client and discuss what he has experienced. And at times, because there is a change of the sound, the tonal balance and change or whatever, they thought it was for the better. But most of my client system, I almost knew it as better than they do, because when I go there, I listen to what we call reference recording, which enables me to really gauge what their system does best. In most cases, there's very, very small compromises too, sonics wise. And there's a lot of instances where a client would say, bring me the check. I want to pay this gear or order this gear. And I go, no, we're not doing that, doc. And he goes, what do you mean? I said, no, it's not better. It's not better, it's worse. And that's how you keep a client, by being honest, but also if you sell them the wrong product, that's a problem that you're going to have to deal with at a later date, because again, you're not moving up, you're going the other way, and so you don't take that sale. I don't necessarily recommend upgrading to any client until I find something that really brings that level up, and sometimes it's just
or mesmerized. Nice. So, well, I mean,
and someday I'm going to let you experience that, my friend.
I will. I'm excited for your grand opening of the new place. So, you know, what you're really describing there is that client experience. And at the end of the interview, we always try to ask that, you know, what is that differentiator? But you kind of nailed it on the head there, of just being honest, you know, and sharing your understanding of really what sound quality is, how to put it together, being in that client's opportunity of their home or their venue, you know, those types of things. So it's interesting, right? That is a marketing piece. That is called referral-based marketing, right? When you do a great job, you know, more than likely they're going to tell 3 to 5 people. But when you do a bad job, they're going to tell 10 to 20 people how bad you did. And especially nowadays with how easy it is to go to a Yelp or these services that they have out there, people very quickly, will put a bad review for you. So exciting to hear that you've always had that level of integrity and that level of quality. So tell us a little bit about just kind of what are some things that you look at when you think about sound, when you think about, that experience and how someone maybe you coach them in their buying process to develop that for their own home or for maybe a venue or a place that you're working with commercially?
We don't really do commercial systems. We
Okay.
can, but we try not to. The same is true with video. I have a projector that's very good in our media room, and I hardly turn it on. I've probably turned it on twice in the last 2 years. But it doesn't mean I don't like video. We certainly sell video. My right-hand man and my CTO is one of the best AV specialists and integrator in Chicagoland for about 20 years. So we surely have that capability, but I myself, I'm a two-channel purist, and that's where I'm most comfortable, I'm most passionate, and sometimes I don't sleep because I love it so much. So that's our specialty per se.
Sure. And you've carved
We're
out
not changing that. Yeah.
you carved out an incredible niche. So what would you say is kind of you're at that different level. Is there anything that you recommend when you start thinking about taking that type of quality? When you gave the story of the cord, I remember when HDMI came out, the HDMI cords at a very simple level, at my level. And I remember the guy telling me like, hey, if you use the HDMI cord compared to this, red, white, and blue thing, or yellow, I think it was, you'll really feel the quality. And I was like, okay, whatever. And I did. I remember hearing that. And to hear you describe a $17,000 cord, I mean, I can't even.
17,500, my friend.
What's that?
17,500.
$17,500 cord, and to make that type of difference, I mean, it's got to be mind blowing. So what are the target markets that you look at? You said you sell nationwide. How do you look for the right type of client and then get into that space, or even how do you market that?
Well, Musical Artisans has devoted of providing the best listening experience since our inception. We work very closely with the absolute best vendors in the world to make this possible. We have a very select portfolio. I mean, unlike a lot of retailers, we focus on very few manufacturers because it's very important that you spend a lot of time evaluating each component and knowing its characteristic. That's when you become effective dealing with or working with a client that has some wishes. They go, all right, my system is colored, meaning euphonic. It's not precise. My system is soft. It's got no grip on the bottom end. My system is too dry. My system has no warmth or too warm. But by knowing what you sell, it would be so easy for you to make recommendations to somehow give him what they're looking for. Obviously, the best way to do it is you sell them a complete system, because once they visit your showroom, they hear the whole system, it gives the magic. Of course, it's guaranteed, but not everybody has the budget to buy a whole system. So in that case, you might have to sell them one component at a time. We do take trade-ins. We have a unbelievable trade-up policy. And I don't want to go into the details because it would be too long, but the trade-up policy that we have also helps us keep our client. Most of our client base really do not shop from any other retailer to the last bolt. Starting a system, a lot of ways you would be surprised, or most of your viewers that don't play with high-end systems probably are not aware, but room is the listening environment. The room is very, very important. In my view, at least 50% of the whole equation. And then there's the components that follows. The size of the room, that's when the experience comes in. I mean, I've sold loudspeakers to a client with a very small listening room, and at a later date, there is a larger model from the same manufacturer that is in our showroom, and they immediately want to buy it. And I go, no, you can't buy that, Bill, because that's going to overload your room. And he's very disappointed. He calls the manufacturer, and the manufacturer, the owner, the designer said, Ricardo is wrong. I'll tell him to sell you the product. And I get that phone call, and I said, here's very important information, especially for new retailers. Takes decades to have repeat customers, clients that are really someone that listens to you. It takes 5 seconds to destroy that. So you have to stand your ground, especially when you're 100% sure that you are correct, and the other guy saying what he's saying is just not knowing what he's talking about. You're the one working with the client. You know the listening environment. You have to hold your ground and make sure that client keeps on enjoying his system. Again, it's not always spending money that makes the difference. Sometimes that goes the opposite way. And it's the job for retailers to make sure that that never happens. Because once they stop listening to their system, you are in trouble. And so that's another message that I'd like to share.
I love it. I mean, it's very genuine, right? That you would really consult the client. They go behind you and go to the manufacturer, and the manufacturer wants to sell it, obviously, but then they come back to you, and you still hold your ground. And no wonder they respect everything that you say. I love that line that you said, down to the bolt. They really don't think of going anywhere else besides.
And literally, I'm not just saying that.
That's
literally.
fantastic.
I mean,
It's such a great.
I'm not just a purist. I'm really a perfectionist. I guess I might have some disease, but I just don't believe that compromising is something that ever has to be done. If you can do it right, you have to do it right. I mean, I have installations where the artwork in the room was half a degree off, and I bring my level and make it right. I mean, just how much of that does it take? And like the wife of my client is very happy with that. But that's, if you can do it right, do it right. It's not a big deal.
They say it's priceless, right? Attention to details and doing the extra little things. I mean, what you just said, leveling even just a piece of art that has nothing to do with your sound system, but has everything to do with.
Oh, no, definitely has something to do with the sound system. Everything sounds better when it's in proper order.
Oh, neat. Okay, so there's some mastery to that as well. Okay.
Oh yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
I think so.
All right. Hey, I'm learning from you, and
I'm kidding.
What's that?
I'm kidding, but
No, but you're right. I mean, look, ultimately, an environment, positioning of certain things, you can hear, your expertise is about, how does that sound quality bounce off of certain things? I know, at least from going to, places where obviously they would have a little bit better sound systems, you could hear or you could see the positioning of walls and how it is. So I can't even imagine. I'm not at that level yet for my house to have that type of quality, but I can't wait to build a home to have that type of quality and bring someone like you in to really experience that room or that type of level of opportunity, right? So, well, neat, Ricardo. I mean, you've been so gracious to just kind of share your time. I know every time I talk to you, you're really so passionate about what you're doing in the moment, and kind of guiding that. Nowadays, what are some things that you're thinking about this new location? What are some areas that you'd love to share with the community of the Gopher CEO? What you're thinking, hey, I'm going to go from retail to the home-based business that exploded, a really nice business for yourself for a few decades, now back to a brick and mortar. What are some concepts, some things that you're thinking in your mind that you're going to do even to the next level?
Well, the dream is really to have a shop that will become an audio destination in the country. So it's a bold statement, but that's the passion, that's the dream, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I believe I have the right product mix. I have the team that enables us to achieve that. It's always us. I mean, it's a team. As I said, it takes a village of people. That includes all the manufacturers. I love all the manufacturers that we deal with. I'm really in a very good place. And once you look at the gallery section on our website, and by the way, we launched a new website. We're fine tuning some aspects of it, but it looks pretty good. And you'll see some of our installations, and these objects are just unbelievable. Like, for instance, the turntable behind me that is by the Bear. It's the Sapphire model, and that is just shy of about $100,000 without the cabling. Just the turntable, torn arm, the cartridge. But if you look at closely, some people call that the Patek Philippe of turntable. And I heard this product about 3 years in a row in Munich, which is the largest trade show in the world. And for those folks that's watching this video that is in our industry, you must go to Munich. It is the most educational, mind-boggling experience. I mean, you go there, you know which manufacturers truly are presenting their product as pure high fidelity, and some who are just simply moving boxes. So going back with the Bear, I wanted to be a dealer, but there was no one who distributed it. And 2 years ago, I can't take it no more. So I talked to the principals, and here we are. And it's like an art. I mean, I look at my art, but I look at that thing literally every day and dust it off, and it's always ready for prime time. And they are great playback machines. The DAA converters. We don't do much of CD players anymore. You can do reel-to-reel tapes, but my baby is still turntable. That to me still gives you the best fidelity. But you have to have all the playback machine, because there's a lot of recordings that are only available in digital format and analog format. The other. on the other spectrum. So you have to have both. But someday again, you get to listen to that. And when I drop the needle, you will be paralyzed. I will guarantee.
I love it. Well, I'm a fan of house music and some pretty big DJs. Actually, one that I followed for a long time, Eric Murillo, passed away over this year,
Yeah.
or 2020. What's that?
Plenty of great musicians. Yeah.
Yeah. No, great Tiesto and all the guys that I kind of grew up with, and Bad Boy Bill in the Chicagoland area and all that stuff. I know he's been worldwide. So interesting. I'm sure we can probably talk another 2 hours or 3 hours of all the people that you've met at those levels as well. So, but hey, I wanted to share with you, obviously coming to an end of the interview here, Ricardo, and one thing that we're excited about is every 6 months to 12 months, we want to reconnect with Music Artisans. I'm excited. I think next videotaping of this episode, I'd love to be inside the new location and videotaping and being able to do an interview inside your location. So I'm looking forward to that once it's built. But one of the things that we talk to our CEOs, founders, entrepreneurs that come onto the channel at the end is about the C is client experience. The O is operational excellence, but the E is employee engagement. I did that backwards, CEO. But client experience, when you think about it, how can you sum up the actual, the value, the extreme value that you put together with how your clients experience their process with you? If you could just give us maybe 30 seconds of just how does that look like, and what is the value proposition that Music Artisans bring to the table?
Well, there's a lot of ways to respond to that. I mean, by the way, one of the most effective way for us to promote our business and new products is we do host open house events at least twice a year in our current location, but our plan is to do open house events every quarter. And with that, we hire caterers and offer hors d'oeuvres and finger foods and drinks and vino, and at a very, very high level. And our clientele just loves that. Nobody hardly misses that. And it's like a music club. I mean, there's so much respect that we have with our client. They are our friends. They're our family, and that's really how I view it. I'm almost emotional right now because I just love my clients, and I'm very fortunate to have that, and I hope it continues to flourish and grow and so on and so forth. Employees, as I've told you, the way we work is we are a team. I never, since day one, presented myself as, quote unquote, the boss. That's not how we do here, and I think it makes a productive, healthy, happy environment in most cases. When it's time to get serious, I get very serious. So sometimes I'm intense, but they understand that sometimes that's what's required. So that's always our recipe, and no changes is going to be made. Yeah.
Great. And the last one is, operational excellence. So maybe just share a little bit of insight, when you finally do get that sale, that person really wants to work with you for the first time. Is there any steps that you could share, even at a simple level, of that make you different of how you go through?
It's something that the industry does all the time. So it starts from an appointment. They come, listen, evaluate. Then the next step is for us to visit, see the room, the listening environment. We do build dedicated listening room from scratch. We have plenty of clients that has that, and it's the right course of action, because there's no room that's really built uh, properly for high fidelity listening. I mean, the walls that you see here looks normal or ordinary, but there's a lot of tricks to build a listening room.
Hmm.
Most walls are just too weak that they introduce noise into your listening space. That's what we call a diaphragmatic effect, where the walls actually move. And so the spacing of the studs, the material of the studs is very important. The amount of drywall and isolation that's needed, depending on the goal. There's rooms that needs to be soundproof, so you have to add resiliency, but you also give up precision. So if you want a high resolution system, you want to have the walls to be really really thick, like the old concert halls. Those are plastic plaster walls, and they don't move, they don't budge. Uh, uh, in our case, our listening room has suspended floor, but I have about 12 jacks underneath, so it looks like a normal floor. But those are the things that is very important. So that's one of the things that we discuss with the client that's considering to put a serious hi-fi system together. And then, of course, the discussion of choice of equipment, the price points that they are comfortable, and but always the most important thing is I need to really know what type of music they really love, because there are systems that truly performs extremely well with the genre of music that they listen. No different than someone who has season tickets at Chicago Symphony Orchestra. If your client has a balcony seats, the third, the second, that's the kind of balance that they would like to expect when they hear their hi-fi. Someone has, the main floor. That's a difference. Some people likes it to be on the very first row, so their pants flaps when the timpani starts banging. So there's a lot of ways to do it, and this is again the importance if you expose your ears to the real thing at a consistent basis. This is the difficulty with COVID, because I haven't been in the concert halls since late December. So hope to go back there and hear some good tunes again.
No doubt, no doubt. And no, what I feel like when I'm listening to you, I'm kind of inside your brain and thinking like, man, this guy, the things that he's experienced and the clients, I'm sure that, once that, fulfillment comes about and you put everything together, I can only imagine sitting in one of those rooms and excited when you open up your new place to be a part of it, and humbled to be there. So, well, Ricardo, thank you so much for joining the Go for CEO channel. Our journey is really to keep on, following you, and hopefully the next episode 6 months from now, you can kind of share with us what's new in Music Artisans, your new location, what's happened, what are some different things that you're doing. So we could really keep on watching you over the next few years, develop and grow, and keep on being such a great leader in your industry. So can you share with the audience just your website, your phone number, if you'd like, just any way to contact you? Do you do stuff on Instagram? Share with us a little bit of that, and then, we'll go from there.
Absolutely. Our website is www.musicalartisans.com. And we don't do any other social media advertisement as of yet. Doesn't mean we won't do it, but that's the best way to get in touch with us. In saying, especially for you who's considering of bringing some music system in your house, to me it's still the hobby of them all. You get to enjoy it 365 days a year if you want. Unlike the supercars and the yachts and things like that. You go home after a long days of work. You go to your listening room. You have a glass of wine. You sit down. You turn the lights off. You hit that clicker, and boom, you're in a different world.
That's all.
Right. Right.
Got me excited, man. I plan on building a house hopefully in the next probably 3 to 5 years, and hopefully we get to that level where we can enjoy and be a part of the Musical Artisans client base. And I can't wait till also that quarterly event that you're going to have. That sounds pretty awesome. So
we are very excited with that as well. We truly are. And to those folks that are not in Illinois, please check our dealer network, because for the past 12 years we've been distributing the world's best product, and particularly from Europe. And the dealers that we have are so unbelievably good. I love those guys. They've been supporting the product. They are so good at their for what they do. They're very, very passionate, and I would highly recommend that you check those guys out that are not in Illinois, and they're all on the website.
Awesome. Well, everything will be on the description of the video in our YouTube channel. Obviously, we also put this on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and some of the other social media sites. Super excited to have had you on. Thank you so much for making the time, Ricardo. Excited to see you in about 6 months. And ladies and gentlemen, leave a comment, subscribe to this channel. We're bringing you the best CEOs, entrepreneurs, founders, small to medium-sized businesses. Look, startups, people that have put in 20, 30 years like Ricardo has, and are leaders in their industry, but you may not know them, but now you know Ricardo, now you know Musical Artisans and what they do and the quality that they bring, and you should know them. So thank you so much, Ricardo. I appreciate your time, and we look forward to seeing you in about 6 months.
Thanks, John. Sorry for keeping you so long.
No worries.
I get excited.